both are 3.5 years old. And like you mentioned, I don't know who loves me more.
That I don't have a pet and I've never kept one, so very difficult question for me to answer. Probably a fish.
I've seen the whole transition from where people viewed this as a kind of not something necessary to right now being a part of the family.
But I feel they're meant to be free and not again confined to a limited space. Welcome to another edition of Startup Table with AJ. AJ being me, Archana Jahagirdar, and I'm the founder of Rukam Capital, and we're in the Rukam Capital office, back actually to base. You would have seen some of the other episodes which we didn't shoot in the Rukam office. And today I have lots of good founders. Unfortunately, no women founders, and I will pick it up with my team for that, but that's a separate note. The format normally is that we start with introductions. But I do want to ask, are there no female founders in the pet category?
My co-founder is female.
I know, I believe she couldn't make it, yes, but there should be more women. Anyway, but let's start with introductions. I'll request you to introduce yourself and your startup.
Hi. Hello everyone, and hi Archana, thank you for having me here. My name is Ashish Chhanwal and I'm from Jaipur, Rajasthan. I'm founder of Mr. Mrs. Pet. So basically what we're doing is we're revolutionizing the way people adopting and caring for pets in India. So basically it's a platform where we helping people in finding their ideal pet, like dogs and cats and small pets. So I can go on and on about my stuff if you want, Baki. Basically we help people in finding their pet.
Okay, great.
Hi Archana. Thank you everybody to have us here. I'm Utsav, founder of Dr. Doodley. So we are a at-home veterinary service provider. All service we provide from blood test to X-ray, ultrasound is backed by our own hospitals. So we are currently live in Bangalore. We have more than 20 doctors who operate and works for your all healthcare needs for your pets.
Welcome.
Hi Archana, my name is Akshay Gupta. I am the founder of 3 brands actually in the pet care space. PetFed, Benny's Bowl and Flying Fur. Because we have 3 brands, obviously we are in variety of services. So pet community is one, pet food is another, and pet grooming is a third.
Hi Archana, I am Manish, founder and CEO of Moy Puppy, and I am a MBA and CFA by profession, but I'm a pet parent for the last 24 years. So we are building a premium pet grooming brand. We always feel that there is a huge gap where people who are looking for quality products, they have to tend towards the imported brands. So we are filling that gap, providing good quality products at an affordable price.
Welcome. We'll start with you.
Hi, I'm Shankar. I'm the founder of Pets of Paradise. My starting or the journey in pet care began in 1997. My father started dog food manufacturing long time back. So it's a family business that was
Contract manufacturing.
Own manufacturing. He launched even before Pedigree. So it was one of the earliest companies to enter pet care space. I worked under him for many years. I've done manufacturing, sales and marketing, etc. From there, I went into B2B supply chain aggregation through tech products. So we built the current biggest distribution channel in India, where we cover more than 10% of all pet shops. From there, now we are trying to build a D2C brand for pets, where we're building content, community, and making pet parenting accessible. So we have a lot of experts and other things on our platform.
Okay, welcome.
Hi, Archana. I'm Shashwat. I'm co-founder of Novexo Wellness. We just launched our first brand, Lickicious. We believe celebrating pet parenting is the need of the hour, and that's where we have our offering of Lickicious that celebrates pet parenting. And it's an affordable nutrition that we cater to. Either you get nutrition or you get affordability, and that's the amalgam that we have created here in India.
Welcome.
Hi Archana, I'm Ravi. I'm founder of Blep Pet Food. We have commenced our journey just 20 months back into the category of food, here to capture the gap of the quality food in the market, because that's the need of the hour, that's what people are looking for, and that's where we are.
So, one thing that I'm really fascinated, and we'll get into the category itself, it's interesting to have everybody from the same category, is some of you have flown in for this episode. So I really want to thank all those who've flown in, and of course to everyone to show up so early in the morning. So you've come from Chennai, right? And who else has come from where? Somebody's come from Bangalore. Bangalore. Okay, well done. Well done. Well done. And thank you very much. So my first question about the pet category is that is it still very niche? Is it, is it too small still in India? Because, the kind of pet ownership we see in the US or Europe, in the more developed markets, I mean, it's very, very high. So whoever wants to start and answer first. Yeah.
So I think I've seen the journey from 97 when my dad entered pet food industry. It was looked down upon. It was not even an industry.
Oh,
so
really?
Yeah. He's an IMA 93, 95.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, but when I used to go to school, people used to be like, "Kutte ka khana bechta hai." So it was a category that was completely disrespected. There was no real pet parenting or pet ownership. It was more like a guard dog system.
So why did your father start this then?
I have no idea.
You haven't asked him?
I've asked him. He's come up with multiple answers, which,
Okay.
he said somebody recommended it to him. He felt it was the next big category. It was too early that time. So I've seen that change in perspective and how people view pets to being family. Like currently, I don't have kids. I have 14 dogs and 4 cats.
14 dogs?
Yeah. So
And
me and
4
my
cats?
Yeah. So me and my wife, we are happy that
And
way.
how big is your house?
I live in an apartment.
Okay then. And
yeah.
we'll get into all the breeds and all a little later. But
All street dogs and indie cats.
Wow.
No breeds.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
So I've seen the whole transition from where people viewed this as a kind of not something necessary to right now being a part of the family, and maybe it even makes sense financially to not have a kid and have pets.
you're going to get trolled for this one. People feel strongly both ways.
Yeah, I agree. Both the ways are fine,
Yeah,
actually.
yeah.
So I think this transition has happened mostly in the last 10, 15 years, and it's going to get really accelerated with Gen Zs and millennials being pet parents. So I'm a millennial. Now, the Gen Zs are even better. They take much more care. They look for, they actually consider work-life balance very important, and pets play a significant role in the whole mental well-being and happiness and all those spaces. Now, if you take other markets like US and all, I think there's 60% households having pets in it. India is 7 or 8%. But it has grown rapidly. Now the threshold or the inflection point happens around 15% for mobiles, cars, etc. So we are hoping that if that reaches in the next 4, 5, 7 years, then we will see it become mainstream and the volume or the TAM will really grow. There are other factors that are involved in this, but yeah, it's very niche right now, but I see it as a really upcoming, rapidly growing market, and the potential is unlimited. We wouldn't have got featured 4 years back. We were quietly working in the backdrops. Now we are featured, people call
So no,
us.
actually, I started looking at the pet category 5 years ago. So yeah. In fact, I remember speaking to somebody in Chennai, and I hope it was not your father, who had their own brand of kibble and basically, the pedigree sort of proxy. I can't remember the name, but that was in 2018.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So I would have invited you even 5 years ago.
Thank you.
Yeah. So who else wants to respond to that question of mine? Yes, please go.
So, I always say to, like whenever I talk to somebody that 10, 15 years back, we used to feed like milk and bread to our pets.
Yes.
Right. So that says what things have changed in the last, 10, 12 years. Even, I also used to feed milk and bread, which is actually not good for pets. So I think things have changed, but I think we are just starting as an industry. There is a long road ahead, and a lot of new brands and new kind of foods will keep on coming, and people will value more for their pets. And I think we just started. That's what I believe in.
Okay. What is something? I think you want
yeah,
to go.
I'll go ahead. So when you say niche, I don't think it's niche anymore. It's at the inflection point of around
I'll
$1
tell you
billion.
why I say niche, and this is a debate we have internally as well. See, there are a bunch of investors who think कि चलो pets में कुछ ना कुछ तो करना है, right? And we all know the deals that have happened. I feel that for any company to succeed, if there are 2 layers of friction, then it's harder.
Yep.
Not
Very true.
impossible, but harder.
Very true.
So यहाँ पे पहले आपको you have to get a pet first.
Yep.
Agar there's no pet, then there's no business.
Very true.
That's why I mean niche.
Very true. So just going back to the point. So India is at almost $1 billion inflection point. If you look back at some of similar markets 10 to 15 years back,
Like which ones?
let's say China, it was at around $1 billion. Today it's a $10 billion industry. So that inflection, so you see a hockey stick curve going ahead. And that's what a lot of people are betting on at this point of time. What is working in favor of pet industry? There is always a need of companionship as a human being, right? As you go along with nuclear family, with Gen Zs, millennials, late marriages, lesser and lesser kids being there. So that is what has driven it for China, which I very strongly believe will drive it for India. And that is what I have bet on and moved out of a good, very cushy corporate job.
What was the job you were
So I
doing?
used to head marketing for two-wheelers for Castrol India.
Okay.
And my partner used to head sales for Philips in Western region. And prior to that, he was head of sales for Attenborough.
Oh,
So
okay.
we have left all of that to get into this industry because we have that vision to say this is an industry that will really make it happen for us. And that's where we are here creating affordable nutrition, because at the end of the day, middle chunk is where the consumers lie. And that is where we are taking on the named and famed brands.
Got it. Who else wants to?
Just to add to what Hari and what everyone has been saying, see, the biggest multiplier in the pet industry is that of repeat retention.
Yeah.
The decision
Yeah, once
of,
you have the customer, you have them
so
for at least 12 years.
the
there.
decision of choosing a food is very similar to that of choosing a baby food.
Right.
They want to be certain, they want to be sure of what they are feeding, and then they will keep feeding that. So like Kishore Biani in one of his podcasts said, there are 3 Indias. Most of us are targeting the Singapore-India consumption. And the Singapore-India is adopting pets at an increased rate of 133% CAGR year on year.
I'm glad you guys have all your data
Yep.
in place.
So it means people with more money are entering the market. It's a market which will remain sticky. People don't want to experiment a lot. The challenge and the good thing is the same thing, the stickiness of the market. And it comes with a huge multiplier. A person is not the meals are served twice
Your
a day.
CAC to LTV ratio is going to be superb. It'll be like the best in the business.
Yeah, and we are just seeing the tip of the iceberg. There are 5.5 CR people who pay income tax above 13 lakhs. Now, those are the people who would adopt pets faster. Those are also the people who are spending money. And even if it becomes 5,000 per month, then the market size swells to 1,000 crores, even for the quality food or a premium food. So I think the category is huge. We're just waiting for the numbers to roll in front of us in 4 years or 5 years.
Yes, please.
So I feel we have international numbers. If I just draw down you for the localized numbers, Bangalore is about 1 crore people living up, maybe 20-25 lakhs household. And everybody, whosoever coming up, is targeting that 50% of that 25 lakhs, means 12.5 lakhs and 15 lakhs. And every third household have a pet. So see, if everybody have a go-to-market strategy for those 15 lakh household, and every third household have a pet, so this is one of the big market where we can place about, right? So that's I feel.
Yeah.
Actually make बहुत important point add करना चाहता हूँ, because we all are talking about majorly 2 verticals, pet food and services. But this pet industry includes pet sourcing also, where we come in, right? Because we are
I
into
actually have a question for you, but after everybody speaks, I have a specific question for you.
Sure. So हम numbers की बात करें, market size की बात करें, market is growing. I don't believe it's a niche market. It's a very big market. Why? Because मैं 3 base years की बात
कम
कर रहा हूँ.
समझ आता है.
Because maybe I'm facing this problem, huge problem for me as a founder. Because अगर अपन 3 base year की बात करें, 2004, 2014 and 2024, जो pet population था इंडिया में, it was around 50 lakh in 2004. In 2024, it went to 1.2 CR.
How do these numbers come? वो pet census कौन करता है?
They are like इतने accurate numbers नहीं, but still इसका जो conclusion
broad numbers है.
Indian government का pet census भी है, वो census भी है. There are many markets. Euromonitor.
I use Euromonitor.
हाँ,
It says
Euromonitor.
32
So
million
this
pets are up
data is
there.
coming from Euromonitor.
So it's not very reliable.
Wait, because I want to know, how is this tracked?
So personally, I believe in primary data. So I go down on the field, figure out, like in Bangalore, we did a survey. We found that 25% of apartment households have pets in them already, which is above inflection point.
But is it 1 pet or 2 pets?
It
Because
could be either.
right now
Any
one
pet,
pet situation,
one
right?
pet is also considered a
No,
pet
of course.
household.
No, but like, when you again travel overseas, you'll see a lot of
Multiple,
people, a lot of people will have 2 pets, at least 2 dogs,
I think we're 20 years behind US, like in that way. They're
Sorry,
way
आप
ahead.
अपना point complete करें.
So basically वही है, जो अगर 2014 में बात करते हैं, growth it was increasing per year, 50-60 new pets were finding home. 2014 to 2024, the number went to 3.2 CR, and then by 2034, this number will be anywhere around 10 CR. So that means कि अब से every year around 60 to 70 pets will be finding new home. So वो भी एक vertical है. So that's a huge vertical and वो आपके market को multiply करने वाला. Again, you जैसा आपने बोला.
So
कि वो
he's
repeat value
the
आएगा.
primary source of all your businesses. So he's your best friend, guys.
Because I can very bluntly say at the moment we are biggest in India. हमसे ज़्यादा pets कोई deliver नहीं करता India में. We are the biggest. And the way we guys are working, because as a founder I face many challenges कि customer को कैसे बताना है, guidance नहीं, knowledge नहीं है, तो बहुत सारे issues हैं. अपन I think before this interview started we were talking about this thing also कि लोगों को idea नहीं है काफी कुछ food का and all. Gradually people will start. अभी penetration भी नहीं है pet parents का ज़्यादा. They only hardly 10 to 15% are
7 to 8.
7 to 8%.
National average.
Because I'm not into this pet food part, so I might be wrong with some numbers. But हाँ, अभी बहुत scope है.
Anybody else who's not spoken?
I can add, yeah. So I think what Archana, what you said that is pet market niche, I would completely agree to that. At this point in time in the country, it's niche. Like Hari said, that the penetration is only 6 to 7%. On top of that, the calorie count is significantly lesser.
Yeah.
Out of the number of people who actually own pets, the number of people who are actually consuming the products that are made for them is far, far lesser. But because of the sheer population that India has, the potential for that to grow is significantly high. I think all of us in the category are betting on that. We're creating good products for the pets which actually make a difference to their lives. And like Shashwat and Hari both said that, you know, when the Gen Z and millennials are in the phase of adopting more and more pets, and when we see this inflection point coming in, I think some of our companies will do very well.
All of the companies should do well. Why only some? So you wanted to respond to his point, right?
Not respond, add.
Sorry, yeah.
So he was
please.
talking about India 1, India 2 and India 3. Currently India 1, which mainly accounts for 3 million pet parents, 3 million pet parents, account for 90% of the market cap. The rest of them are not part of the spending category. Now we need to find ways to bring them in by catering to them the way they need at their price point. That will really open up the market even without new pets coming in. 90% of pet owners in India don't spend anything on their pet. We're talking about just 10%.
So, you know, I was having a chat with one of our LPs and we were looking at actually again a pet sort of deal. And his point was that, and like, I mean, as you can imagine, like he's super wealthy. He said,
10%.
He said, no, but he said, I spend nothing. I mean, like very, very little because you see, they also have indies. They have a large farm. So वहाँ पे they're very well taken care of. But I'm saying from a spend perspective, it's not significant spend, you know. That whole thing of having those cutesy clothes and, you know, all the toys, वो सब नहीं है. So his point was that if somebody of his sort of net worth is not spending, then who's spending? That was his question on this category. So, but I think it's a shift of the consumer also.
There is
he's an older person. So I have a question about ethics. You know, there is this whole point ki indies are better, adopt a stray. And I feel that somehow it puts, you're smiling, you obviously have a point of view. But I'll start with you, but let me finish what I want to say. Is that, see, I feel that, I mean, if you love pets, you should love everybody. Like, why also discriminate against the poor pedigreed guys, yeah? मतलब उन्होंने क्या गलती करी है, right? So, do you feel that this activism has also a bit out of control? And मैं आपसे शुरुआत करूँगी because since you are in the business of breeding, so of course a thing that is said against breeders is that there's a lot of, I mean, animals are treated poorly and that's why. But there must be ethical breeding as well because, I mean, you know, living organisms.
I think ethical is a better word. I would prefer using responsible.
हाँ ठीक है.
Ethical क्या होता है कि मुझे लगता है इसके पीछे काफी ड्रामा हो जाता है. Ethical का सेंस नहीं है.
ठीक है, responsible use करते हैं.
Responsible is much better because people who are into breeding, responsible breeding, वो वैसे ethical हो जाते हैं. Because government की इतनी rulings नहीं है. एक point और मैं यहाँ पे add करना चाहूँगा because many NGOs are there in Rajasthan and out of Rajasthan, they are supporting us. Because the way we guys are working, वो वैसे भी government के norms से better है. Because I make sure every pet which goes through our platform should be of proper age. 8 weeks का होना चाहिए, right? Should be of.
Why 8 weeks?
Government की भी norms हैं.
अच्छा.
8 weeks होना चाहिए, छोटा नहीं होना चाहिए.
For adoption.
हाँ, so यहाँ पे एक variation आ जाता है कि how we are making sure that we dealing with the responsible people and we doing our work properly. So age make sure करते हैं, we make sure about the vaccination part. We make sure about the health part. The tests are there, the power test, distemper test. Many scenarios are there where we do this blood test and X-ray test also. So we make sure कि जो भी हो रहा है properly हो रहा है. अब बात यहाँ पे आती है regarding the adoption part, the breed part. तो again काफी है यहाँ पे जो नॉनवेज भी खा रहे हैं, काफी जो वेज ही खा रहे हैं, राइट. सो ये तो हमेशा रहने वाला है.
नहीं, बट आई थिंक वो थोड़ा सा स्टिग्मेटाइज जो कर दिया गया है कि आप पेडिग्रीड कुत्ता मत लीजिए, आप स्ट्रेस को अडॉप्ट
कीजिए. सो यहाँ पे 2 पॉइंट्स है मेरा. पहला ये कि ये बोलता कौन है. मेजरली एनजीओ पीपल. अगर वो ये नहीं बोले they'll stop getting funding, डोनेशन नहीं आएगा मेजरली. दूसरा
ट्रूथ बॉम्ब्स आर बीइंग ड्रॉप्ड.
सिंपल है. और दूसरा पॉइंट यहाँ पे आता है, अगर प्लीज आई एम सॉरी बट अगर कोई भी ब्रांड ये बोलता है ना कि I'll prefer adoption, that's your personal philosophy, that's totally fine. पर अगर आप बोल रहे हो कि go with adoption, not with buying part, तो मैं आपको एक चीज़ बोलूँगा, प्लीज़ एक स्लोगन डालना आप आपके वर्किंग में कि I'll only sell my product to the customer जिसने अडॉप्ट किया है. अगर उसने बाय करके लिया तो you'll not sell your product. तो वहाँ पे बात खत्म हो जाती है, क्योंकि अल्टीमेटली वी ऑल आर डूइंग बिजनेस एंड आई एम मेकिंग श्योर द बिजनेस आई एम इनटू वो रेस्पॉन्सिबली होना चाहिए. एंड एट द मोमेंट आई एम डूइंग इट फार बेटर वे द गवर्नमेंट इज आस्किंग. ठीक है. सो देयर आर मेनी बिग पीपल इन द इंडस्ट्री, आउटसाइड द इंडस्ट्री, जिनसे मेरी बात होती है. सो दे आर काइंड ऑफ अप्रिशिएटिंग अस, क्योंकि फाइन ठीक है, there is someone who's trying to do it very proper way, kind of proper way, and I'm sure in coming 4-5 years और better हो जाएगा हमारा way. So there is a need of this thing. Adoption करो, buy करो. Pet parent बनने वाले इंडिया के अंदर, right? तो pet parents होंगे तो there should be someone जो responsibly pet parent बना रहा है. तो I want to be that guy. And I am being that guy at the moment. So
You were smiling.
So I was smiling because yes, there are issues. Ideally, strays should get more adopted. Yes, there are issues with
But
respect
why?
to breeding
No,
also.
but why
And I'm
should
coming
strays
to
be
that
more
also.
adopted?
I mean, it's a personal choice. If one wants
That's
to
my
adopt,
point, right? So
it is personal
this
choice.
stigmatizing of buying versus
But I think the stigmatizing what people are doing are the unregulated part of the sectors, where he comes and sort things out and iron things out for everyone. Anything which is unregulated across sectors ends up having a number of issues. The same is with the breeders. If they are unregulated, there are no norms, no rules being followed. So that's an issue.
Yeah, that's
and I think
different.
largely people are confined to that unethical breeding only, even when they are preachy or anything. They want to say that you adopt if possible. If not, then you find a responsible way of getting a pet.
If we look at the overseas markets, they don't have strays. So, the problem of strays is a different issue altogether. So, the point I'm making is that individual choice should not be imposed because a problem has got created for a different, entirely somebody else's or some other causes, So, you have... please.
So first of all, I would like to tell that I am a 2-time certified trainer also.
Oh, wow.
So
I have a lot of respect for trainers.
So, I have nothing against indie dogs or any. I also have 2 dogs at my home. I have one adopted dog also, which is a Dogo Argentino. So, first of all, pet parents need to understand what kind of lifestyle they are living in. In animals, genes are very strong.
Yes.
So, when you get an indie dog at home, you don't know that, they have a genes of running 5 to 10 kilometers every day. और उनको छीन के खाना पसंद है.
Exactly.
So जब आप उस डॉग को घर पे लेके आते हो और आप उसको घर में रख देते हो और वॉक नहीं कराते हो 5 kilometers, then that dog get aggressive.
So a very close friend of mine used to have 2 Dobermans, and they have so much energy. वो पागलों की तरह, and they used to live in an apartment, and they used to go mad because just to be able to exercise their energy and so I mean I think those dogs are beautiful, but
So when I go my home, after my work, be it any time, I take my dogs for walk myself. I play with them for a ball because they need to get their energy out, which people don't understand. They carry their pets in their arms. I mean, this is not what they want. They want to release their energy. They want to play with the ball. They want to play with the tug. That is what is very important, which I can say through your channel also, that adopt a pet, but you need to understand what kind of lifestyle you are living in and what your dog demands. Like if you have a bigger breed, you need, and you can't give time, then probably go for a smaller breed and play at home with some, toys to get the energy out. That's
no,
what.
But pugs, I believe, have breathing issues because of how their air paths are. So maybe not have pugs in Delhi with this kind of air pollution,
Their average life in Delhi is 5 to 7 years.
Yeah.
Pugs, French bulldogs all die within 5 to 7 years in this.
Yeah.
So I wanted to add, similar to what he's saying, I don't personally say that you should adopt an indie, or it depends on what you can take care. If you're a first-time pet parent, you don't have much awareness, go for a Shih Tzu or anything like that. Indies are much more challenging. I grew up with pets, 30, 40 dogs at home since I was 5 years old. So I
Have you
understand.
done any other profession
Nothing.
but this exactly?
I'm completely
I mean, if that's
yeah.
how you grew up.
I have no other choice. This is the only place I can.
Yeah.
So I have experience taking care of a dog. I understand their psychology. I can communicate reasonably well with them. I understand the
Are you
problem.
also a trainer?
No. Just live with them. So it enables me to have the dogs, and most of them came to me because they were injured, they were lying somewhere. It just ended up with me. So I wouldn't say that buy a particular breed or sell anything like that. But personally, on our platform, we only do adoptions. We work with Friendicos, Cupa, Yoda, etc. Only for the reason that I feel that breeding, the way it is done in India today, is unethical. I don't want to be a part of that whole system. That is my personal choice. I wouldn't stop anyone. Actually, if someone comes to me, I'll tell them to get say a golden retriever. It's perfect for a
No,
household.
what about a boxer? I love boxers.
Boxers are high in energy.
I know, but I love them. I think they're
But
great dogs.
depends on how much time you can give them.
I know. No, of course. All that being said.
So indies are like that. They're high in energy. Their survival instinct is very high. So they'll bark at a leaf moving also. They survive like that over the years. So you should understand how they came to be. What was their purpose? Based on that, does it fit your need? Then choose the breed.
So I'll pick this point up from you then. You know, this anthropomorphizing of animals into human is also problematic. So I think to your point, you know, putting a poodle in your bag and carrying as a baby, you know. Huh?
Guilty. I carry my dogs. Like from the car, I put them in the car directly, take them to the office, and then carry them back to the car.
Why?
Because my car gets
They have
dirty
legs.
if they walk on the floor.
Oh, I see.
Yeah.
I see.
There's mud which will get into the car, so I have to carry them every day. I don't feel it's wrong.
Okay then.
I mean, they might hate you when I say to people that, don't do this. But that's what they have to do. But they need to understand a dog or a cat, they don't love that way. I mean, like, as their genes, coming from 100 to 100 years back there. So they just want that. They need good exercise and they want to spend time with you. They want to be part of family. Yeah.
People tell me, why is your dog on the couch and the bed? I'm like, if he asks me, I'll give my car key to him.
What about all your millions? Will you give all your millions to...
Anything. Like, see, I have a very personal relation with them. It's a different equation altogether. I trust them, they trust me. So whether they're sitting on my bed, it's their bed. They will sleep on my bed. You have to adjust. You came.
Okay, then. All right, then. Do you have friends left then?
Friends like me.
Yeah, exactly.
So what we were discussing, whether it's niche or what is driving the people, I think this is the passion which is the
No,
highlight
I
of the
think
category.
passion is very, very important. You know, I think those are table stakes for all founders. But my only question, the reason I brought this question up is, I mean, I find it a little problematic that people are being stigmatized for choices that they're making. Of course, you know, there are very problematic choices like getting huskies in Delhi, Bombay. I mean, or a Saint Bernard. I mean,
I think
it's
I'll
cruel.
be able to offer a very unbiased opinion on this. I have been running a pet business for a long time, but I've never had a pet in my life. Till date, I don't. And because we also run a community business, we see that yes, when people stigmatize having pedigree dog, that becomes a challenge. We have also faced a lot of this stigma in the past, but I think that's what discrimination is, right?
Exactly.
That's the other side also. Like, say for example, when the government make laws for a certain sect of the society to uplift that particular sect which has been neglected, the same argument can be made there.
No, that's a livelihood issue. Right. See, strays versus pedigree is not a livelihood issue.
No, it is.
It's not livelihood for the strays, no.
No, so that is technically, if you listen to what the NGOs are saying, I'm not saying all of them are right, but the real issue behind asking people to adopt strays.
No, but the issue behind strays, like I said, is very, very different. See, in India, the private citizen is being forced to do things that should happen by course and by norm, right? So again, like I said, I mean, you know, that's a very, very broad and vast topic. So but again, if people feel strongly about strays and want to adopt, by all means. My only limited point is don't stigmatize those
Correct,
who want to
absolutely,
get pedigreed
absolutely.
dogs, with few exceptions. I mean, given our weather conditions, I mean, should you have a Saint Bernard or a Husky? You know, I mean, those sort of extremes.
What I feel is that all this is happening because there are no legal norms around it. The government has not
But
laid
you
down.
can't legalize everything.
No, you can.
We are in
You-
favor of too many laws, nothing gets implemented.
No, so like you said, that certain breeds should be allowed, certain breeds should not be allowed.
Look again, it's about education. These
Right.
things don't work on law. See, law.
But who educates that? Who sets the
No,
guidelines?
so it'll be businesses, it'll be NGOs. See, civil society in India has many issues, and we can do a 100-hour
Absolutely. That's an unending
conversation.
debate, yeah.
No. So point I'm making is that there are so many civic issues in the sense, even how we engage with each other, right? I mean, the fact that I had to say that don't talk at each other. I mean, nowhere else would I have to do it. This because in every other society, it's understood that if one person is speaking, you wait for that person and you don't pounce on that person and try and shut them down, right? Everybody can have their say and it's all fine. That's how a civilized conversation is, not even a debate, a conversation. But my only limited point is that, see, what are the larger ills of society? Should not be imposed, but should there be awareness? Should there be wanting to be part of the solution? Yes. But you can't stigmatize people. That's the only limited point.
Even I think now it's changing. Now people have divided into two emotions, right? One emotion feels that I want to see this baby journey from the day I book with the breeder, right? And to it is 45 days when it came to my home and everything, how it goes to a 12-year-old dog and also and so forth. And other people come, oh, this is already something which is over the maybe roadside or some adoption house, I should give him a house. So now people who are mature enough are just dividing their thought process into two emotions, which they feel correct and they are following it up.
No, that's fine. Now, this is a point in our conversation where I'm going to ask you to ask me questions if you guys want any answers from me. So I'm happy to answer any.
Have you had any pet?
I've never had pets, but so I've loved a lot of cats, but stray cats, not a pet. And, again, I used to have a view on this, by the way. My view about pets versus not having pets is not a lack of love for animals, but I feel they're meant to be free and not, again, confined to a limited space and to the whims and fancies of their human sort of, owner, parent, whatever you may want to call it. So I have felt that way about it a long time. And I feel a lot of affinity to some breeds, to be quite honest. Like I said, I love boxers. But will I keep one? And I don't think I have the ability to give the kind of time, energy also. So that's my...
You consider keeping one in your office?
Of course, I was just thinking about it right now. Actually, but I'll again say this. There are a lot of people who have not grown up with pets also, specifically dogs. And my other problem when people say we love animals, it comes down to dogs. I'm like, love all animals, hai na? Why is it only dogs that become the center focus, right? So I say only cats and dogs. Okay. I eat the rest. Why? What about the rest of the animals? So you're choosy about who you love. Okay then. No, so yeah, I was just thinking about it as we were having this conversation. But the only constraint I would probably have is that in future, if there are team members who join who are not comfortable with pets, that would be my only... So I'll come to you to help with the training. So that, on both sides, the human training and the dog training, because I think humans also need to learn how to live with pets.
But I think you never had, you must have one.
Okay.
It is very difficult. When I convinced my parents, it was very difficult. But I have seen my dad cry when my first...
No, you get very attached. That's my other problem. I think I'll get very attached.
I will tell you how I come over it. My 3 dogs have passed away in past. So, what I did, I never changed. My last dog name was Taiga, and now also have Taiga, Juno, same Juno. I keep the name and try to give more love. what I might not have done for my past dog, I try to give
See,
now.
the outcome
That's-
of this table is not that I go and get a pet, but I think you're
But-
convincing me very well.
You must have one. Then only you can see, they give you so much love. I might have a bad day at my office. When I come home, he just comes onto the gate, and the way he shows love to me. I have 2 sons also, but they don't give that much love. That's the fact. That's the fact. I'm telling you. And
So
that's,
they'll convert the people who are not pet friendly. The 12 dogs, other than the 2 who live with me, stay in my office.
Yeah.
And they made everyone in my office pet friendly. 5 of my office people adopted strays. They started loving them. Even on a really hectic, tiring day.
Basically, you're making sure that time yahin se बढ़ जाए. Basically.
So if,
All right,
if
well.
I may ask,
Yeah, please.
what are 3 things you look for as a fund house to invest in a pet startup?
Founder. 1, 2, 3, all is the same. I mean, it's the same.
Very clear answer.
Yeah. I mean, I say this to all founders and I think sometimes it gets harder, therefore, to say no, because then people will take it personally, because ideas are nothing without the founder. And the ideas also come from the founder. So, any other questions?
and how, obviously, all of us are into pet industry, and we see a big future, going from here. So what, as a VC firm, how you see as a pet industry in next 10 to 20 years?
I think some of the reasons that were mentioned on this table are valid. I think nuclear families, people are moving to other cities. Earlier, migration within the country was very, very low. Now, if you could grow up in Allahabad but move to Bangalore or so on and so forth. So then you're also away from your relatives, not just your immediate family. So yeah, I think I do see the category growing. But when we started looking at it 5 years ago, I thought the adoption was a lot slow. Even now, I feel that the growth hasn't happened as much, even including for funded startups in this space. So maybe it's a function of fine-tuning of the product, maybe it's pricing, maybe it's what the product should be. I don't have a clear answer that what will be that inflection point. Sometimes inflection point also comes because a founder brings a completely fresh way of looking at the problem of the market. So that's how I think about it. But yeah, the short answer is also that we will probably invest in, if we find the right startup, we will invest in this category. So yeah, any other questions?
Archana, from the macro point of view, because US is the driver of consumption in the world, and typically the styles from US would flow to Manila, Indonesia, etc., and then come to us. What do you think is the time lag between the US consumption trend to it getting adopted across just a generic?
So one is that, there is certain societal resistance also specifically to dogs and cats. So what happens is that one generation has to sort of agree and make space for the next generation. So I think I had, when I wanted a pet badly, my parents were completely against it. And their reason was that you won't take care of the pet, which was, I think they were right, I would have not. And there would have been extra work and burden on them to take care of the pet. So there has to be, I think, more services also available, like pet boarding, because now more Indians in the same bracket who probably will have pets now are traveling a lot. So what happens to the pet? Because again, if you're in a nuclear family, you can't leave a pet alone. So it is a big responsibility, I feel. It's not a casual decision you can take. So the inflection point is also more services available, which are reliable. Again, just as you want a good breeder, you want a very reliable pet boarding, which I don't think we have. Friendicos, yeah, exactly. But you need more places like Friendicos. There's another, So I think, the two things happen simultaneously. As demand goes up, then more such things will happen. For this category, it's true for almost all categories, but I think more so in this category also, you've got to be very empathetic to the animal. So again, pet boarding or breeding for both, or even whether it's pet food and all, if it comes from a state of only pure profit, then you will cut corners, and then it leads to a lot of bad outcomes, to my mind. So I think we do want to look for a ethical, empathetic, ethical founder in this space specifically. Okay, any other questions?
I have one more.
Of course.
So, how you see for like D2C brands, quick commerce playing a bigger role, and I'm sure your so many portfolio companies are also getting into that kind of transition. So how you see like, quick commerce gonna play a very big role
It's
in
been
future?
a game changer for all categories, specifically FMCG. So I'm sure those of you who own pet foods must be seeing a big velocity in your growth, because e-commerce couldn't support below a certain ASP, and that was the problem for a lot of FMCG brands, including in this category. And to manage offline retail is very expensive, takes a long time. So you're still not close enough, because if you don't have enough distribution, you're not close to the consumer. So quick commerce is definitely, to my mind, is a game changer for all young brands. And young brands tend to adopt to it faster than legacy brands. They get it. And of course, all the founders of these quick commerce startups are more friendly to other startup founders also, in terms of listing them and making them go live on their platforms. So I think it's a game changer for all categories for startups. Anybody else?
Archana, you mentioned that this pet space is divided into different parts: boarding services, which is all services, grooming and all, food category, healthcare category. So are you looking something which category can be big thing and is unsolved today as of you?
No, what I was trying to say was, see, all startups start from a very niche space. So in fact, we would not invest in a startup which is trying to do everything, because it's very hard to do everything when you're starting out. So yeah, we want to look at niche. But what we've not been able to see a little clearly compared to other categories that we've invested is what is the path of growth and size, because VC businesses ultimately need companies to scale fast and get to a certain size. If I was investing my personal money directly, I would view it differently. Then you think about things differently. So what we've not been able to see, how does whichever sort of stream or niche you pick up, how can that really grow, and then what is the evolution of that company from that niche to maybe a broader. So if you look at a lot of our portfolio companies, they all started, almost everyone started with a niche, and then they went into other categories, and which is fine, which is the evolution of any startup. So yeah. Anything else? Anybody has?
Archana, don't you feel sometimes like when you decided to invest करना in some startup, when your thesis is not coming to some conclusion, but you feel like कि करना है नहीं करना, just let's take the risk, तो risk वाला वो point नहीं आता है कि चलो ठीक है, let's take a bet.
नहीं, the whole thing is risky. See, आप अपने नज़रिए से देख रहे हैं, but अगर आप अपना पैसे लगा रहे होते और आपके पास 10 businesses आते जो अर्ली स्टेज है, मतलब जो अभी शुरू हो रहे हैं. सी अर्ली स्टेज में ना हर बिजनेस रिस्की होता है. तो देयर इज अ मिसअंडरस्टैंडिंग दैट VCs आर नॉट बैकिंग रिस्की बिजनेसेस. ऑल बिजनेसेस आर रिस्की, हाईली रिस्की व्हेन दे आर यंग. इट्स नॉट अबाउट कि अगर आपको पैसा नहीं मिल रहा है तो VC ने रिस्क नहीं लिया. हर बिजनेस में रिस्क लिया है, बिकॉज हर बिजनेस की जर्नी इज़ नॉट लीनियर. ऐसा नहीं है कि देयर सम प्ले बुक. मैंने वो अपने ब्लॉग में भी लिखा है, देयर इज नो सच थिंग एज अ प्ले बुक की बिकॉज मेरे पोर्टफोलियो में 4 कंपनियां विच हैव रियली स्केल, so there's absolutely the same playbook that each one has had. That's not true, because it's also the founder's personality, it's the category segment you're in, it's the market. Like some companies faced COVID, some now companies are getting built post-COVID. So how you respond to macro external events is also an important. So being a founder is a lot about judgment, right? It's not about कि आपने कहाँ से पढ़ाई करी या. So every VC, every investor takes risk, very high risk. अगर मेरे को कम risk लेना होता, because even when I put money in the capital markets, that is also high risk, because it's not guaranteed that I'll get a return. It's not guaranteed कि market हमेशा ऊपर ही जाएगा. So हर investor risk लेता है, but early stage is very very risky. So my job, or any investor's job who runs a VC, is to see what is the least risk within the whole and least risk. You should sit in our shoes some days, because you will understand the point I'm making, because it's not about कि risk नहीं लेना है. It's about कहाँ पे, like I said, I mean, I've been seeing the pet space since 2018. हमने एक भी इन्वेस्टमेंट नहीं करी है. Because I can't see कि कहाँ पे it'll fit out.
Sometimes you get some examples who are creating the category. So वहाँ पे नहीं लगता कि try करके
Like,
देखो, this
कौन
pet
किससे
sourcing
कौन लीड कर रहा है? See, leading is a misnomer.
creating the lead.
That's also a misnomer. See, आपको लग रहा है आप create कर रहे हो, but you haven't created it yet. Create करने का क्या मतलब होता है? Is the size and scale is so significant. तो Unilever कुछ करता है तो they create a category because they come at it with so much, right? Category creation takes a long time. It's a big illusion कि जब आप बहुत छोटी कंपनी, आपके दिल में वो होगा कि सपना होगा कि मैं कैटेगरी क्रिएशन करूँगा, but it doesn't mean कि वो हुआ है. And there's a long way before that happens. So when a early stage investor comes in, and आप देखो जो सीरीज B, C पे भी अगर आप देखो जहाँ पे लोग 100 करोड़ डालते हैं कंपनी में, look at how much they go, and again they have to, you'd think कि अब 100 करोड़ की कंपनी बन गई तो इसमें तो रिस्क ही नहीं है. उसमें भी रिस्क है, because any mistake at 100 crore is so expensive. It can kill the company. Maybe there's no further growth. So the risk is very, very intense. And you cannot imagine the number of things that can kill a company or keep it very small. वो भी हमारे लिए नहीं जमता है कि अगर कंपनी छोटी रह गई, ना इधर है ना उधर है, so वो भी हमारे लिए नहीं जमता है. So try and understand both sides of the table, and अगर आपको सच्ची में लगता है कि कैटेगरी क्रिएशन आप कर रहे हैं, so you will succeed irrespective whether you get VC money or not. VC money is not the definer of success. So then why have angst about it? नहीं मिलता है because अगर conviction है, you will make it big irrespective. It'll be the VC's loss, right?
That's why we all are working. उससे फर्क नहीं पड़ता.
नहीं, some will get, some will not get, because we are also an undercapitalized country. वो भी एक बात है, इतना नहीं capital है, risk capital इंडिया में compared to the number of founders and startups, so वो भी एक बहुत बड़ा गैप है. So there are a lot of challenges. So आप एक छोटे से लेयर को मतलब वो पूरा, they can't solve everything, so like nobody says कि बैंक लोन क्यों नहीं देता, कौन देता है? Nobody even give you debt money, right? Including banks. Banks are meant to support the small guy, but नहीं मिलता ना पैसा उनसे. So you have to understand how capital flows. फिर समझ आता है कि why those decisions happen or not, So before we close, I want to ask each one of you favorite animal and breed. Of course, if everybody's going to talk about dogs, then breeds. So I'll start with you since you're the most experienced amongst us.
It's a very difficult question if I say one. Now, if I say dogs, then my cats will have problem. If I say cats, my dogs will have problem.
Okay, then how are you going to solve this?
I would go with street dogs because I like them a lot for some personal reason. But cats have started gaining my attention and confidence from the last 6-7 months. They have their own quirks, but they're amazing themselves.
They have personalities.
Completely different.
Yeah.
So I have a beautiful German Shepherd.
Oh,
3-year-old.
lovely.
And the most amazing thing when I get back home. So he's the most amazing thing when I'm back home. He and my son, both are 3.5 years old. And like he mentioned, I don't know who loves me more. I still will go with my son at this point of time. But yeah, give it a few years.
Yeah, I know,
we'll
let
get
him
to
grow
know.
up. Yeah.
I'm a dog person, breed agnostic, but I absolutely adore the way they love you back. My parents are retired now. Their entire retirement life revolves around our dog at home. I'm very happy that in many ways Max is keeping them active also. So out and out a dog person.
Great.
So my favorite animal is tiger.
Wow, that's a good choice, but we can't have them as pets.
I cannot have it at my home, but my favorite breed is French Mastiff.
Oh, nice. Oh, nice.
Right, like I said that I don't have a pet and I've never kept one, so very difficult question for me to answer. Probably a fish.
He's the guy to invest in.
I agree.
Best businessman.
Yes. But
Least
within
amount of
the fish, is there any favorite within that?
As long as it
No,
swims.
I eat salmon, so probably salmon.
You are going to get trolled. Definitely.
Nothing beyond that.
Okay.
So I have a Doberman, so he's my favorite. Whenever I come back now, so he reacts that he's only waiting for me. My mom says I was waiting for 5 hours and he acts like he's only waiting for you. So he's full of
Cunning.
Yeah, everything. So that's the I love the most.
Okay, what about you?
I had many pets since my childhood. So currently I have two. So favorite animal is dog, of course. And the dog is a Indian breed. Street dog's kind of Mogambo hai. Huge energy bomb. And the favorite breed is golden retriever because I have this. मेरे dog का नाम Sugar है. So that's sugarness also. So I cannot choose any other breed. To. Golden retriever is the favorite one.
And mine is boxer, but I like tigers also. They're great animals. I mean, they're really majestic. The big cats are really majestic. But on that very happy note, I want to thank everyone for being here. It was a very interesting conversation, and even more gratitude for all of you who came from outside of Delhi. Thank you very much.